Hi guys and girls, welcome back to my channel. I do hope you're doing well. It is our monthly sit down with Shan, the one where we can just chill, sit, chat, and of course with it being Valentine's this month, who remembers this? Picked it up in Primark, I think it was last year. I think it was like last November or December when I was last down Preston Primark, and I was like, I need to get this ready for February, and here we are already. I don't know if they have any of this. I didn't see this range or a style like this back in when I was down Primark, which you will see very soon. But yeah, I picked this up last year and actually really happy that I did, because the weather is a bit meh. It's not warm, it's not cold, it's in the middle, but it's still got that like crispness. You know what I mean? So we've got the heating on for the minute, but I've chucked this on and I thought, what better video to sit down and film it when we're talking all about love. I do have a white chocolate mocha as well, because I have kind of put myself on a caffeine ban Monday to Friday. I only have one fruit tea a day, but on a weekend I do like to have my little coffee. So this is actually a Starbucks sachet. Picked them up in Iceland, 3 for a £5 last week, and they was very, very nice. Just knocking the lamp as I do. So as you know guys, if you want to get involved in Sit Down with Shans, I send a monthly email out, and I will also ask over on my Instagram. I do like a little story poll, and it'll be whatever topic, whether it's a mukbang, a scandals, a sit down, a confessions, or just a general little catch up to see how we are all doing, which I did do in last week, and some of you weren't doing too good, so we had a little conversation. And yeah, I just like to check in on you guys, because life isn't always roses and fabulous and love, is it? Life can be quite crappy sometimes. So we had a little sit down, and then this month, as I say, with it being love, it was, what do you class as love? Like, how would you show love to someone? Say family, friends, acquaintances, love to yourself. So you guys sent over all of your questions and your tips and tricks. I'm here with my coffee, so let's get into it and stop rabbiting as always. I'm also very happy because I've started bringing my cushions from Mum's. So I've brought my Love Heart cushions, not really that you can see. And I've also got my donkey cushion, but I feel that will be going downstairs in the living room because that's where the canvas lies. So let's have a look, my lovelies. My iPad, no idea where it is. I don't know if I've left it at Mum's. I don't know if it's here. I don't know. So we've done a little screenshot on the phone today just to get us by. Let's have a look. So one of my lovelies says, I was never lucky in love. I've been single about 14 years now. I've been out on dates, but nothing. So I've had a few like this. And when I was single, people was emailing me saying, like, how do you enjoy your own company? And I think it stems for me a lot because I'm an only child. So I'm used to being in my own surroundings. I'm used to being on my own. I was never really a sociable, like I was never out every weekend. I was in a big group of friends, probably more boys than girls. I was quite tomboy growing up. And there was only about 4 or 5 girls and probably about 15 lads, to be honest. We was quite a big group, but we wasn't ones to be out every weekend. We was quite, looking back now, we was actually more interested in our studies than going out. And if we did go out, it would be, right, say we're studying till 3, we'll meet up at 4 and we'd go for food. Or you'd have occasionally, if you're a 90s baby, you may remember getting into like teenage years nappy nights, I used to call them, where you used to go to like the under 18s nightclub, and you'd be there with your little Coke or your lemonade and have a little bit of a dance and your music. But yeah, I've always been okay on my own. And as I say, I do think that is from being an only child. Let me know if there's any other only children watching, whether you feel more comfortable on your own as opposed to, say, people who may have siblings who have always had people there to bounce off of. But with, I think, being on your own, if you don't feel a click with someone, there is no point forcing it. As this lovely says, you've been on dates and nothing. I think sometimes people get so caught up in this world of, I have to be with someone. And don't get me wrong, I was in relationships from very young. I was in a relationship from 14 to 21, 22 to 27, and then I had a year's break of each being single. And in that time, I'd probably say I thrived. I had the time to go to the gym. I went out and about. I'd done my solo holidays, and I didn't have a problem of, say if I was sitting indoors and Mum was pottering around or watching a programme and I'm like, oh, I fancy a coffee, I'm going to go out to the coffee shop. And she'd be like, what, on your own? You don't want me to come? I'd be like, no, I'm all right. I'd grab my book. I'd say my Kindle. We all know the Kindle only comes out on holiday, guys. I'd grab my book. I'd go down to my coffee shop, sit myself in a little corner, have that, maybe a little cheeky pastry or a cake. And I could easily sit there for an hour, hour and a half just on my own. And I know for some people that's a big thing. And I've had messages before from people who said, you never guess what I've done today. I say, what have you done? I've been and had a coffee by myself, or I've gone for a smoothie, or I've gone for a walk on my own. It doesn't matter what it is. To someone it might seem so minor, but to someone it's also so major. And I think we have to celebrate all the wins, no matter how big, how small. Celebrate them all, because we never know what boundaries people have to overcome for that. And I think in terms of dating, people think sometimes, oh, I need to be with someone, and like you kind of force a connection, or like in your head you think that's fine, it's not quite there at the beginning but it will be later on. And I don't always think that's the best way. For me, my signs when I knew I was ready to leave prior relationships was when you feel more alone with that person. So for example, my 2 exes, they were gamers. I don't mind gaming, but I think there's moderation. And growing up, if say like you'd be around there, you don't want to be sitting just watching someone play games for 4 or 5 hours, because they might not want to go out, they might just want to stay indoors. And I would just say, read my book or start editing or whatever I was doing at that time. And I think there comes a point where you think, no. I always say I gave my relationships 2 years longer than I should have done previously, probably, because you have talks, and people, please tell me if I'm wrong, you have talks and it seems to get better, and then slowly you seem to retract into old ways again. And everyone will have that point. I don't care if people say, no, you just plod along. Everyone will get to a point where they will wake up one day and be like, no, like I would rather be on my own than in this situation. And don't get me wrong, the first time I was single, scared crapless. I'd been in a relationship 14 to 21. I didn't know what dating was. I didn't know anything. And I always remember one of my friends at the time, she was newly single as well. And she'd been single previously. She hadn't been in a long term like myself. And she was like, oh, you get on these apps. Guys, I lasted a few days and I was like, absolutely not. The things people would say, I'm like, if this is what dating is, oh, that's a good coffee. If this is what dating is, I'm going to be single forever. It all felt very forced, and there was always an agenda, and it just didn't seem right. You're never going to have a textbook where you're walking down Tesco, you drop a pack of biscuits and someone grabs them, it's love at first sight. Unfortunately, life isn't like the movies. If you've had that, you're very, very lucky. But yeah, and I was single, my first time single round, chucked myself into the gym. I actually started writing my poetry and everything again. I kind of started like thinking of myself, because from 14, I was a young teenager, to 21, I was working, I was driving, I was in my own element. I had to kind of transition and grow myself again. So I was single again for a year, and then my prior partner I met at work, and we was together for 5 years. And again, things just, I don't know if it's because you get in this bubble and then you realise that maybe sometimes people aren't ready to move on with next steps or potentially grow up. And for me, in the last relationship, I really wanted to like start making memories, and Lou was looking to move out, but it was never a joint effort. And I can't lie, there was a lot of financial worries, because I didn't know whether I would have that support. And that was a big thing. I was, what, 22, 23? To think of looking at homes, and if you're the main breadwinner, how it's going to be. And yeah, that fizzled out, unfortunately. And again, I gave 2 years. I always say, I don't know why I gave 2 years longer. That was like 4 years of life I could have, I don't know, well, I don't know what I would have been doing, guys. But, because I think you do have that hope that, oh, it might get better. But it comes to, you can't force it. If something's there and then it goes, I think it's really hard to get something back like that. And as I say, then again, I was single for a year. I went on my first solo holiday. If you've been with me from Dominican, you know the ball ache that happened with that holiday, to be honest, until we got there. And I really started to look after yourself, and you realise that it's not all bad to be on your own. It's actually okay. And then, yes, I'm in another relationship now, and this one is very different. This feels a very mature relationship. We're both on the same page with things. When sometimes someone's not feeling it, you give that extra 20%. We enjoy ourselves, we relax. And I think you guys see maybe 1-2 weekends a month of the life. You don't see the other ones where, say, I'm just dossing around the house. Like today, it's a chill day. Danny's off out. I was like, you know what? I'm going to stay in. I'm going to do a bit of filming, a bit of tidying up. And I'm actually going to have a little pamper night tonight. So he will come back and I'll probably be face mask on, hair up in a bun, put my hair mask in. And yeah, but if there is no connection, I wouldn't force it. And I think there's nothing wrong with being on your own. I always said that I was going to be on my own after my last relationship. I was like, nah, done. Absolutely done with men. And then when you have a natural connection and things develop, it's not forced, it's not staged. You almost seamlessly transition without actually realising what's happening. And I think they're some of the best relationships. But I do think your main relationship is with yourself. So if you go on dates and you think, I'm really not vibing with this person, and you go on another date and another date and you think, I'm just not clicking with anyone, that's nothing to do with you, my lovely. If you genuinely do not feel that connection and you think, you know what, I'm actually strong enough, I'm independent enough to be on my own, you absolutely do that. And as I say, I think a lot of people worry and think, oh, I need to be with someone. Absolutely not. If you're not happy or you don't find the connection, be on your own. And as I say, even now, sometimes mum will say, what are you doing? And I'll be like, oh, I'm off on a walk. Or I'm off into town shopping. And she'll be like, is Dan with you? I'm like, no. I'm like, I think because you may see on vlogs, me with mum, me with Dan, you may forget also, I don't vlog everything. So you guys see probably, I'd say 85% of my life, which is a big chunk. You pretty much see me most days. But in terms of life, you probably see about 85%. And that odd 15% is, say, there's times with mum. Me and mum go out and we don't want to pick up the camera. It's just like us going out for a breakfast to our local cafe and having a chit chat. It might be if I'm out with one of the girls from work. Not all of my friends come on the channel. I mean, you guys have seen Brogan and Keely. They're like the ride or dies. They're my girls and they're comfortable with that. But some of my friends are like, absolutely not. Don't you dare put that camera by my face. And that's fine. And sometimes if, say, I meet up with some of the boys I went to school with, we go down, we might sit and have a coffee. They're not going to want a camera in their face. So I think sometimes perception as well, in terms of, I've seen comments about I don't do anything on my own anymore. And I would just like to clarify, I do. And as I say, you see what I put out. There is another part of life that you don't see. There's parts where, say, me and Dan are out with family members. That doesn't need to be on the internet. So yeah, I just think in terms of love, if it happens, it happens. Love is shown in many ways. And also I think love towards others in the way that people reciprocate it. It's a big thing, and it's not always what you see. So as much as I do love you guys and you see 85% of my life, there are portions of my life. Portions? What was I going to say? Parts and portions. It went portions. You see portions. There are some small portions that you don't see. And whether that now makes me not relatable because you don't see some of these portions, I can't do anything about that, because I'm not putting people in situations of what they don't want to be in and what they're not happy with. But please be assured, I have many a days where I'm chilling around here on my own in a dressing gown, cleaning. I mean, if you guys want to see a cleaning video, if you guys want to just see a day where I'm pottering around the house, doing probably very random stuff, from sticking pictures on the walls, to reading my book, to then grabbing a paintbrush and doing a bit of touch up, to then cooking dinner, let me know. But I think that's what the reset day vlogs are. They're like my ones where I have a structure and I'm like, right, this is what I'm going to do. Spend the day, but not be as chaotic. Okay? I think that's how we're going to go with that one. Let's have a look. What was the next one? I've had relationships and my kids, and then I got diagnosed with a disability. I found the love of my life who accepts me for me and treats my 3 children like his own, and we are getting married in March. I cannot wait because I've been seeing dress sneak previews. Absolutely gorgeous. If someone's single or in a breakup, you really think it's the end, and it really isn't. I didn't find love until I loved myself, and the famous saying, love comes when you least expect it, is exactly 100% true. I'm with you there. It will always be when you don't expect it, and probably with whom you don't expect it with. Let's be perfectly honest. All that right person, wrong time, and all of that, normally that is how it works, unfortunately. So happy to see you happy, Shan. Thank you very much. I'm 35 and I see how well you've done before 30. You must be so proud. This is another thing. People say, oh, you must be proud. I don't. That's one thing Mum says to me the other day. Why are you never proud of yourself? What you've accomplished? And I'm like, it's just a way of life. No, that's just what we have to do. We have to grow up and buy a house and everything like that. And I'm like, I've never done anything and been like, I actually feel proud, which is actually probably quite sad. And I don't know why I feel upset. I'm blaming the hormones. But yeah, I don't ever feel proud. And people say to me, you should be. And I'm like, I don't think there's anything I've done in life that I'm like, you know what? Good on you, Shan. I don't know. Is that normal? Is it normal not to feel proud? But thank you. Thank you very much. Also not on topic, but trolls must not have love for themselves and issues to attack you like they are. Stay strong, lovely. Lots of love. Lots of love too. I briefly touched upon this when me and Mum, I think it was on Our Mukbang. I don't understand. For me personally, if I don't like something, if I don't think, I just click off. People who feel they need to vocalise it, I'm like, you do you. You do you. But I do think there draws a line, because I think people have to put themselves in other positions and think how you would feel if that was being said about your daughter or your son or your partner, whatever. But I just think that's on them, not me. You're never going to please everyone in life, and if everyone was the same, it'd be boring. So you know what? People are going to carry on doing what they do. I'm going to carry on doing what I do. If people don't like it, please, you're not forced here to watch, my lovelies. You're really not forced here to watch. You can unsubscribe or block the channel or click off. You don't have to watch this. You don't want to see someone sitting plain Jane in a dressing gown chatting absolute waffle. Please feel the need to click off. But if you feel you need to watch it and then go and spout on sites and comments, whatever. If you comment on here, I will gladly reply to you. If you send me an email, I'll gladly reply to you. If you go on platforms that I can't reply to you, there's not really a lot I can do, can I? I can just say, well, you know what? You do you and chat amongst yourselves, because I don't have time for it. And I just think it says a lot more about them people than what it does me. Hey ho. One of my lovelies says, hi Shannon, I never believed in online dating until I came across the Facebook dating page. Now, I tell you what, I've heard this a few times and I'm like, since when has Facebook been dating? Facebook, I remember Facebook, you just used to put your status, put your pictures. Then there was pages, then there was events, and now there's dating. Facebook is the platform of many, many platforms. I came across my fiance 4 years and 3 months ago. We met up and knew after we first met in person that we had a love for one another. When we first met also, we were scared to talk, and now these days we can't stop talking. We have so much in common of likes and loves and hates too. We share the load of paying for foods or going out on theatre trips and days out, and only have had a few disagreements, but still in our honeymoon phase, as people would say. I love that. I think it's good to have that right equality and the balance within relationships, and also there to then pick up when things get tough and when, you know, the other person's not quite feeling it, or you might be struggling a little bit, and it's like, don't worry, I've got this. It's all about give and take and balance. And you know what? No relationship is perfect. If a relationship said, I don't have arguments, I don't have disagreements. I think that would be quite boring. There's got to be a little bicker. There's got to be a little nag. Does he leave his boxers on the floor or the socks? There's got to be something that would be a little niggle for you. But you know what? How long, this is actually a question, guys. How long do you think a honeymoon phase period lasts? How long do you think that lasts? I would love to know what people's thoughts are on that, because me and Dan was talking about it the other day. And he's like, we're still in ours. Like, people look at us and are like, how? Because you see other relationships, they might not be like that. I think it depends for every other relationship. But what would you say is like a typical honeymoon phase? Please let me know. The best thing in our relationship, I feel, is honesty, care and love for one another. And as long as you have seen that, then you'll have a good relationship. Couldn't agree less. Couldn't agree more. That's what I meant. I can see you and Dan have a lovely relationship and wish you both the best for a great future from one another. Lots of love. Lots of love to you. And they've sent a photo of them and their partner from day 1 to now 4 years together. And absolutely lovely. I've had the pleasure of meeting this lady and honestly couldn't have happened to a better person. I think that is a big thing. Honesty, care and love. You have to... It's also them hidden times when, say, your partner's feeling down, and you know the classic thing, ladies, when we're like, yeah, it's fine, or I'm okay. If your partner knows you, they will know exactly what's wrong, what could be done, why you're like that. They're not just going to go, all right then, and poodle off on their day. And as I say, again, a lot of things, you see portions of, say, me and Dan. You might see Dan in snippets of vlogs and that, but I don't think you'll ever get Dan in a sit-down video, guys. He's not that camera sure front. But it was, what was it at the beginning? You see the side of his head, wasn't it? And then you see bits of him, and that's it. If we're out, I'm not putting the camera straight on him. I'll put it on me, and if he comes into it or whatever, I always say when I'm editing, you're in this bit, and he'll either say meh, or he'll be like, yeah, whatever. But you don't see when the camera's off. And we're very, I'd say we're very considerate in what we post and everything like that. We're not things of posting every week and everything like that. But then you have your private time, and I think those are the moments where you'll sit, relax, it'll just be you guys, and you'll talk about everything or anything. You'll laugh. Like something last night, me and Dan was in conversation in bed, just laying there, and something was said, and I was waffling on, and then the penny dropped, and I was like, huh? And he was in stitches, and we was just both laughing for about 15 minutes. And he said it was when the instant of the penny dropped, and you was like, silly things like that. We don't have a camera on us 24/7, and I think people depict our relationship however they want to depict it. But I would like to say I'm happy, and the majority of you guys who have been with me for a while can see that I'm happy, and Mama G seems I'm happy. That's the main thing. And I think if people don't think I'm happy, there's not a lot I can do. But I am happy. Just know that I am happy. One of my love says, I'm learning to love myself by having a pamper day once a week. I'm happily married, but you can't beat a good pamper night. No, you cannot. And as I say, that will be me today. I will be doing little bits and bobs, pottering around the house, sticking a few odd bits and bobs up, and then I'm going to be on my face mask. When Dan rolls in a couple of hours, I'll probably be there, face mask, hair oiling, and he'll be like, you alright? I'll be like, just chilling. Just chilling. He'll probably go and grab some eye patches as well, and we'll just have a little pamper later on. One of my lovelies. Love can be shown in many forms. To me, it's mainly about spending time with others and just making an effort. Making an effort can be something small, like replying back to a message or asking how someone is. Couldn't agree more. And as I say, I know I am late with my replies to comments and emails, guys. I do get around to it eventually. And the majority of times, I will always start with, I am so goddamn sorry this is late. And you guys will come back and be like, we know you're busy. It's fine. But it bugs me when it's there. I said to Dan the other day, I need like 2 weeks off, I think, literally just to sit and reply to comments and get everything up to date. Because I feel bad you guys have taken the time to reply to me, and I can't always get around to it like I used to. And it does annoy me because I think I should have time, but unfortunately I don't. We only get 24 hours in a day, and unfortunately 10 of them will be majority time work, then travel, then food, then shopping, then filming, then editing, then spending time with Mama G, and we're going to look into signing up to a gym or boot camp. I don't know how that's going to go. I don't know how we're going to have the time, but we will see how that goes. So yeah, I try if I can. If say we're going somewhere and I'm not driving and Dan's driving, that will be when I try and catch up on it. If say I'm on the train with Mama G and she's asleep from a memory day, you guys have seen she gets very exhausted, bless her, at the end of the memory days. That's normally when I try and catch up. So yeah, it does bug me, but I do get around to it. And as I say, just asking how someone is, that's why I done my poll the other day on Instagram. I just wanted to check in with you guys, and then it started some conversations with people I hadn't spoke to before, and here we are today. I am personally single, so I don't have a partner, but it is something I crave, and I would love to be in a relationship where we do the little things like cuddling and watching TV, going for walks, or going on days out. But sadly, Shan, what are you saying? But sadly, I personally don't have much luck in that department. When I start speaking to a guy, they tend to ghost me or not put in any effort until meeting up. My lovely, if they ghost you, they are not worth your time. Honestly, not worth your time. I think it shows a true character of a man if he ghosts you. And I know sometimes you have to flip that, and he might be scared as well. But if you're scared, you'd be polite and be like, I've not done this before, or I don't know how to, like, to just completely ghost, I think is not nice. And you know what, it is definitely their loss. Do not take that as any sign to your own. As a single person, I love to self-love. You just have to make sure that your welfare is good. So I may go on walks, take a bath, or just chill and watch the TV, do a little bit of colouring, time on my scrapbook, and I've even recently started, and I may even do a little bit of retail therapy. You know what, a little bit of retail therapy always makes me feel better. My retail therapy though has slightly changed. Take for example last weekend, we went to a retail park, went into Primark, got a few little bits for a haul, no problem. And then we went into Dunelm, and guys, I can't tell you the joy of finding a rolling pin and mini whisks, because I needed them for the kitchen. So my retail therapy now is buying stuff for the house. I don't really get so much of a joy clothes shopping. Put me in a bargain shop and something for the house, and I'm like, yes. Put me in a garden centre, I love it. Now I want little plants and that. Which, garden update, transformations will be starting in April, and no, I'm not digging the life out of it now. It's going to be mainly Dan's project with a few little tweaks from me. There's only a few little things that I'm quite insistent on that I would like for the garden, and as much as I would love to rip all out, I'm not going to lie, because for me, I've never dealt with that many plants, trees, and it's quite overwhelming for me. Dan has said he will deal with the pruning side of it, but I've said like little bits that I'd like to implement in, and Dan's like, that'll work there, and maybe if we move that, it can go there. So the garden is not getting completely bulldozed. That's not happening. But I will have like little areas, and then Dan, he loves, even this morning there was I think he said a blue tit, a little bird out. He was in his element. We've got stuff to stick on the window so that the birds can feed at the window. He's like a proper little naturist, bless him. Whereas me, I'm kind of like, I just want a nice little area, a little rockery. That's what I had as a kid. Little stone bit, little table or a little egg chair, just where I can go up, grab a book and just relax. I think we are getting a new shed for the back, because the old summer house it's fine for the moment, it's just storing odds and bobs, but I think we're going to get a little proper summer house shed style to put bits and bobs in, put the barbecue away. And then the main shed at the front is actually Dan's little workshop shed. So that is his little man cave. He's got all of his tools and his bike and everything like that in there. And then I think the idea is going to be, from the kitchen window as you look out, we're going to have maybe decking or redo the tiling somehow. Put the patio set, because we have got the patio set still in the box in the shed. Because I thought we'd get that built last year. Didn't quite go to plan, so that's there. And then we're going to have a little set up for the barbecue. We might get another form of like little wooden bench, but yeah, it's getting there. The garden is 90% clear. We've just got the doors at the moment because we've been doing the doors these past couple of weeks. And yeah, apart from that, it'll be done. And then I'm going to tackle the driveway. What am I going to do with the driveway? I don't know yet. I'm thinking something just to smarten it up and level it off, because when you drive on, it kind of like dips. So I'm going to speak to Dada because he's in the land of tarmacking and asphalt and aggregates and everything like that. So I'm going to ask him what would be the best thing for that, whether to slab it off, level it off. I don't know, but that will be a summer project for now. We're just trying to focus on the inside. But yeah, retail therapy, my lovely. Put me in any of them shops and I'm like, yes. Say to me, Shan, let's go shoe shopping now. And I'm kind of like, what shops are around it? I have to kind of get a little mix. However, I have started falling back in love with my perfumes. Since putting them all away, which I will be filming a perfume collection tour very soon, my lovelies. It didn't dawn on me until I put them all away. You've got to get them all out now. So, I need to think how to do that. I think what I'm going to do is take a picture, take them all out, then we'll do the video and we'll put them all back in as per the picture. We'll see. But yeah, I've fallen back in love with perfume shopping, which probably is bad because I don't actually need perfumes. But I don't think you can ever have too many, eh? That's my little retail therapy. One of the lovelies says, love is all about give and take, the good and the bad times, learning to talk to each other no matter what it is. And if you can't do that without a full-blown fight and nothing changes, no matter what you try, it's time to call it a day. True family and friends are there for you no matter what, because when the shizzle hits the fan, that's when you find out who are your proper ones. Self-love is thinking about yourself and doing things and learning to say no. Loads of love. Loads of love too. I think that's a big thing as well. People are scared to say no. I can't lie. I was one. If someone said, do you want to go and do this? I'd be like, yeah, no worries. Even if, say, I didn't have the time, I might not have had the money, I didn't want to feel like I was letting that person down. And also probably a bit of FOMO, the fear of missing out. You think, oh, I wonder what could be happening, or I wonder what that experience is like. Whereas now, if I get a message and it's like, I'm down in Essex, do you want to come down? If, say, for example, I've got plans, I'll be like, sorry, I can't. Or say, for example, if I'm just not feeling it, I'll be like, you know what, I'm not feeling like, because it is quite a trek for me now. And I'll be like, can we meet somewhere halfway? Or do you want to come up here? Or we'll meet next time you're down. Or if what I'll do is I'll then keep that on my mental note. And when I'm next down with mum, I'll be like, you know what, I'm down Essex this weekend. Do you want to catch up then? So it's all about, as you say, give and take and spending that time. And you have to be able to communicate. I think, as I say, if every disagreement, every problem, every issue turns into a full-blown argument, that for me, like you've just said there, that's a get out. Or if you're talking and it's just going, it's falling on deaf ears and going straight over the point, that is where it's kind of like, no, that's not, it's not acceptable and it's not what you deserve. Here you go. Love is company. Kissing, hugs and a meal out. Or a home friend ships. You don't have to be in love. You can do self-care love, like a nice spa day or seeing loved ones. Even though I'm with someone, he's not very romantic anymore and he's lost interest in me. I'm sorry to hear that, my lovely. But the fact that you still have self-love and self-care, not a problem at all. I feel, again, if your partner isn't romantic with you, I'm talking from previous experience, guys. I say, gamers sitting on their things, you'd have to occupy yourself. If they're happy to do that, then if you want to go off to a spa day or you want to go off and do a bit of shopping on your own, off you pop. Don't feel that you have to just sit around and exist for someone in a relationship. I know sometimes people find it hard to be romantic, but it's the little things. So say, for example, when was it? What are we now? Tuesday or Wednesday? We had the empty vase in the front room. And when I come back, Dan had gone and bought flowers for it. Little things, because I was like, I'm going to pick them up at the weekend when we go food shopping. And I come back and they're done. It's the little things. And you're kind of like, oh, you listened. Or like, you've heard. I'm just like, mentally, I'm going like, right, they get flowers, the food shop, la 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 la. And he's obviously listened on the things and been like, and when I come back, I had a lovely bunch of flowers in there. So yeah, it is the little things. But if you ever want to chat, you know my inbox is always open, my lovelies. One of my lovelies says, hi Shannon sweetheart, this is a tricky one. I think this is our last one actually. Grief is the price we pay for love and for being in love. If it doesn't hurt, it wasn't love. I've loved, I've lost, I've been hurt, cheating on and fooled by wrong uns. I'm sorry, could you never deserve that. But although I don't believe I'll ever find my happily ever after, and deeply sad, I'd give everything to have my mum well again and my family back. So Shannon, life's too short to let anyone go whom you love, and never go to bed on an argument. Always kiss and make up. Lots of love. Lots of love back. I am with you on that, never go to bed to an argument. If you have a disagreement, do not be laying in bed tossing and turning and thinking, oh, just get it out in the open. Because I'm kind of, I don't know what the word is, but like, not spiritualist, but you know when, like, you don't ever want to go to bed on an argument in case something happens. So I'm with you there. If there's a disagreement or something, it gets squashed. It gets squashed, it gets talked about, and then you wake up on a new day. This is a good way of actually looking at it. If it doesn't hurt, it wasn't love, and grief is the price we pay. I get that, because if you think back to relationships when, say, you get to the point where you're like, I am done. And correct me if I'm wrong, for a woman, we will fight and fight and fight. And we get to a point where we are just so exhausted and so done, we then become silent. And you see TikToks and videos upon it, and they say when a woman becomes silent, that's it. If she's nagging you, there's still something there. There's still that fight in her. But when she becomes silent, like, that's gone. And I feel before the silent phase switches, we are emotional, we're hurting. You're almost aching because you wonder why it went so wrong. Like, you tried everything, why it's not working. And you get all those emotions out, and then you switch. It might not be for everyone. I know with me, I don't know if it's because Gemini or whether Mum says I'm quite cold-hearted sometimes, to be honest, but I can literally switch and be done. And then it's just like an existence. And then at the time comes when it's like, right, I actually can't just exist anymore. And you're not showing emotion. People sometimes think, why are you not upset? Because mentally you've detached from that years ago. You've took yourself away from that situation. You're just almost being there because of routine. And yeah, I never thought of it though. Grief is what we love. And then when you think of, say, grandparents, no matter how long that's been, I will always feel a sadness. And I'm not going to cry because I'm sick of blooming hormones. But with loved ones, you will never not feel hurt or sadness, because you would always have an unconditional love for them, no matter how long they was in your life or how short they was in your life. Whereas I think love for, say, partners, it's different love. Different love for parents, grandparents, family members, your partners, pets, anything. There's all different loves. Like friends, you have different love levels, like friendship, ride or dies, acquaintances. Like, love is a big word, but as I say, I think it ultimately comes down to you have to have love for yourself. And don't get me wrong, probably the biggest hypocrite, because sometimes you look at yourself and you think, nah, we're not doing this today. But you have to carry on, and you have to have that love. So I am the worst for it. I will always call myself the F word. I will always say the U word. And Dan gets very irate at it. He's like, no. But I've always thought, probably a very weird way of thinking of it, if I call myself those things, if someone else was to, it's not really going to hurt, because I call it myself. So it's kind of like, all right then, tell me something I don't know. And that's probably not a great way. I remember when I had therapy, they said that's in essence like a trauma response, and like you're putting barriers and layers for reasons why. And yeah, I just think, but you have to have some form of a love. So for me, the thing that I always say never fails me is my mind. I might not have the most put together house. I might not have the most put together body, far from it. I might not have the most put together face. But my mind will never fail me. Whether my mind is kind to me or not, because sometimes it can be a little bugger, it will never fail me with, say, for example, education. I don't know, like if I need to think of something or add up something, my mind's always there. So I just think find little things. That's probably a very weird thing to say you self-love about yourself, your mind, when it's good to you. But yeah, or I might like, you guys will laugh at this. I put a pair of slippers on at work the other day and I put them in and they was baggy around the ankle. And I said to my work colleague, oh, my ankles have got skinnier. We howled. We absolutely howled for about 5 minutes. She was like, what? I was like, look! It's probably because I used to wear them with bed socks and now I just wear them with little slips. And it's probably stretched. My ankles probably haven't got any skinnier. But for me, that was a win for that day. And I'm all here for that. It was just, I turned around and I was like, guess what, Dan? Because my colleague at work is Dan as well. She said, what? I was like, look at my slippers. She said, what? I was like, my ankles have got skinnier, they're baggy. And that was it. We was gone for about 5 minutes. Hyperventilating, crying, and then back to your normal day's work. So it's little moments like that as well, because I think with work colleagues as well, you spend most of your time with work colleagues. And if someone's feeling a bit down, I'm always one of the first to be like, what's up? Or like, you just try and naturally cheer someone up, because you can't be sitting at work for 8-10 hours a day unhappy. And yeah, it's just like trying to, you get that little bounce. If you can get a smile from someone, it's all better. Or you give a hug, or you make a cup of tea, and just try and be kind to someone. But look at us. We've been sitting here rabbiting away. That is the last of the questions, my lovelies. And as I say, thank you for everyone who does get involved in these videos, because if not, there wouldn't be a sit down with Shan. I'd just be sitting here chatting absolute waffle. But yes, thank you to everyone who did get involved. And I must say, I will be chucking into this. You'll probably think, Shan, you've not drunk hardly any of that. Ask Dan, it takes me forever to drink a hot drink. If we go into Costa, I will always ask mainly for it in a takeaway cup, because I know I can't sit there and drink. He'll do like 5-6 gulps done. I'll be sip, sip, sip. So yeah, I am a slow drinker. I do apologise. But guys, if you did enjoy that video, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe down below. And leave me a comment. What would you say is the honeymoon period? And what would you define as self-love? But yes, take care, stay safe as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!